This is gonna be a long one. Almost certainly going to be multiple parts. So, what do I think of the FNAF lore? I don't know. The lore is vague. I can't really form an opinion on what I don't know. That being said, I definitely feel safer talking about what I think the story should have been than what I think it is. Plus, I would like to flesh things out a bit more, and there are a lot of things I would definitely change. And since I know some of you are going to figure this out, some of my ideas are inspired by Blackfoot Ferret's theories. I know what you're thinking, but don't worry, I'm not going to have Lamar Afton. The main ideas I'm lifting from his theories have to do with the shadow animatronics, and if you're familiar with his theories, you can probably see where this is going. Oh, also, I won't be going over any of the Mimic stuff because Secret of the Mimic just came out and it's more tied to the modern era of FNAF. So I'll save that for if I rewrite the modern games. This might all still be pretty controversial, but I'm not trying to tell the most unique story, I'm trying to tell the best version of this story. William Afton was born in the late 1930s in England. When he was young, his mother died in a car accident. This took a toll on his father, who is an alcoholic for most of William's childhood, to the point that he got kicked out of the local bar, Junior's. For a while, the only person William had was his grandmother, but she couldn't do much. She spent most of her time watching TV in her chair. When William was 15, he built his first animatronic, the original Freddy Fazbear, before running away. William met a girl named Teresa, who was the daughter of the owner of Junior's. William told her everything, and she let him stay with her. After a while, Teresa grew attached to him, and she eventually decided that she was going to go with him. By the end of the week, William, Teresa, and Freddie sailed away into the unknown. They landed in the United States, where they spent the next few years trying to find ways to get by. Years later, William graduated college, married Teresa, and the two of them had a son named Ralph. William got a job at the Rat and Cat Theater. Yes, Five Nights at Candy's is canon to this. It isn't relevant, but I thought it would be useful for backstory. There will be more connections, but the main Candy story is largely separate. They had hired him as a backup performer for the Rat and Cat when the main actors weren't available. He quickly became best friends with one of his coworkers, Henry Emily. The two of them had a dream of someday creating their own location, creating early concepts for characters like Bonnie the Bunny, Foxy the Pirate Fox, and Circus Baby. By 1970, they had saved up enough money to start a small circus called Fall Fest. They would contract Murray Co. to create costumes of their characters, with Freddy being the star attraction. Teresa would occasionally show up to perform as Circus Baby, but she would spend most of her time taking care of their children, Ralph and now their younger son Michael. In 1973, as the Rat and Cat Theater closed, they used the opportunity to move Freddy to his own location, the first, smaller Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Fast forward to 1980. William now had a daughter named Elizabeth, and Henry also had 3 children, twins Charlie and Sammy, and his younger daughter Cassidy. Everything was going great, until one night, everything went wrong. On the night of Cassidy's birthday, she was locked outside the pizzeria as a prank by Michael. Being locked outside in the rain all night, Cassidy eventually died. William found her body and went to tell Henry. But William wasn't the only one. The puppet, designed by Henry to protect the kids, found Cassidy's body outside, and her soul was fused to it. The incident caused Freddy's to close down, but they didn't give up. Henry and William decided to distance themselves from Freddy's for a bit and opted to try something new, creating Fredbear's Family Diner. This location starred special golden versions of Freddy and Bonnie called Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, both of which were special spring-lock suits. These suits had a special feature that allowed them to switch between animatronics and suits using a special tool. William was hesitant about the idea, but Henry took great precautions to make sure the suits wouldn't accidentally switch while someone was inside. Fredbear's Family Diner opened in late 1980 and was a massive success, quickly reviving the Fazbear brand to be bigger than it had ever been. But Henry wasn't doing so well. The death of his daughter had really taken a toll on him, and what started as grief began to evolve into paranoia as he began to believe that William had killed her. After all, he was the one to find out about it. Henry's growing anger at William would reach its boiling point at the opening of their spin-off location, Circus Baby's Pizza World. William had repurposed the character of Circus Baby as an animatronic for Elizabeth, and Henry created Ballora for his wife. But Henry's hatred for William led to him making a massive mistake. He reprogrammed Circus Baby's storage container with a claw mechanism programmed to target Elizabeth. William found out about this and was horrified. He couldn't understand why his best friend would betray him like this. The day of the location's opening, William did everything in his power to keep Elizabeth away from Circus Baby. She didn't understand. William said she would be just for her. So she ran off to see her, and in an instant, Elizabeth was gone, and William was angry. By this point, the business split in two. Henry continued running Fredbear's, while William opened a new Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, featuring animatronic versions of Bonnie and Foxy and the character Chica, who came from another location called Chica's Party World, which was bought out by William's company, Fazbear Entertainment. But the cycle continues. William still hated Henry, even a year without seeing him. So in a moment of rage, William came up with a plan to take both Henry's remaining children and his business. William got a job at Fredbear's Family Diner, using the fake name Steve Raglan. He told Ralph that he was in charge for the night. Ralph didn't understand, but he trusted his father. William, as Steve Raglan, lured Charlie and Sammy to the back room, promising to let them try on the spring-lock suits. As they put on the suits, William took out the tool used to switch the spring-lock suits, and the spring locks snapped shut, killing both of them. William couldn't believe what he had done, but it was too late to go back. He had gotten his revenge. In the aftermath, Henry became even worse, disappearing and leaving Fredbear's abandoned. But this incident accidentally created the two worst monsters yet.